Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand. I am, as always, your host, AR, the Ohio Patriot, and this is the Ohio Patriot Education Network channel. For today's episode, we're going to be talking about wrestling, specifically AEW, MLW, WWE, etc., etc., etc. So basically, been trying to catch up on a bunch of wrestling lately. Uh, Apparently Paige debuted in AEW last night, and I was shocked. I was fucking around watching some other stuff, and then ended up flipping it over right as the women's match was ending, and all of a sudden, fucking Soraya, as she's now calling herself, which is I believe that's what her real name is actually, um, came out of the fucking ring, and I'm like it took me a second. I'm like, wait a minute, that's fucking Paige. Holy shit! And yeah, I was surprised. Um, I want to say WWE would not let her ever wrestle again in their wrestling ring, is what it was, because of her like neck injuries and stuff like that. Which, if you look back at that, could obviously be why I hate Sasha Banks. Because if it wasn't for dumbass Sasha Banks fucking up matches and moves and stuff like that, Paige wouldn't have been seriously crippled for a long time in her career, and she could have had a hell of a lot better career, is what it was to this point in history. So yeah, fuck Sasha Banks, dude, and especially fuck Sasha Banks because of the fact that she walked out of WWE a while ago, and her and I believe it was Naomi needed to keep walking in that company, and any wrestling company needs to never have anything to do with either one of those hoes ever again, dude, is what it is, because they're fucking scumbags. And, I basically called, here's the funny thing about Sasha Banks, dude. I called Sasha Banks' bitch ass out, I don't know, 7 years ago or something like that. Whenever she started in WWE, I was like, this bitch is a fucking egotistical fucking cunt. And the only reason she's even in this company is because she's Snoop Dogg's fucking cousin, dude. That was legitimately why she was picked by WWE back in the day for NXT and stuff like that, dude, was because she had ties to Snoop Dogg. And if it wasn't for that shit, she wouldn't have been fucking nothing, dude. She would have been some indie wrestler chick who was basically never known. Maybe sometime down the road, 7, 8 years, 10 years down the road, or whatever the case be, she may have gotten picked up at WWE back in the day. But it would have been well into nowadays when she actually got discovered and stuff like that. It probably would have been maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, instead of 7, 8, whatever it was back then. And the thing was, again, like I said, and the thing was, as far as I'm aware, nobody ever took responsibility for hurting Paige, and I think it's bullshit because it was 100% fucking Sasha Banks' fault, dude. When you look at that match, it was Sasha Banks being a fucking shitheel fucking wrestler who didn't know how to actually do moves correctly, and because of that, she couldn't do the fucking shit properly, and so she fucked Paige up in the ring is what it was, dude, and caused her to have serious neck injuries and shit like that. And I think that's exactly why WWE for years now wouldn't let Paige wrestle in the ring anymore. And I'm glad that she is actually in AEW now, because I think she probably is going to wrestle in the ring again, and I'm happy to see that, honestly, dude. And I'm assuming honestly, when it comes to Tony Khan, he probably had doctors do physical physicals and stuff on her and make sure she's good to go or whatever. And it might not be a bunch of matches; it might be a handful of matches or something like that. That'd be pretty. But either way, it'd be nice to see her, in the ring again. Is what it is, dude. And I can only assume that she's going to come back and be, competing and stuff, especially considering the look that Britt Baker gave of holy fuck. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Another thing I want to talk about with AEW, and this is something I'm getting kind of sick and tired of, is Jade Cargill in general. I have never liked this chick since she debuted in that company, and really the problem is you have a woman coming into a wrestling company who is basically, as far as I'm aware, a bodybuilder up to this point. Never really had, official training or whatever the case be. Eventually did, I think, get some random training from the staff at AEW is what it was. And then wants to basically fight a bunch of jobbers. Let's face it like it is, dude. So they're claiming that Jade Cargill right now is 37-0 or some bullshit like that with her fucking TBS title is what it is. She legit has fought and beat 4 or 5 chicks that are actually names in this company. And I'm talking about people most recently Athena and stuff like that. And then she fought 30-something jobbers and beat people, dude. That's what it is, dude. She basically got paid to beat jobbers is what it was, dude. So no, your fucking title reign is bullshit, bitch. Go fuck yourself. And honestly, I would I don't know where the hell Nyla Rose has been. As much as I don't like that person, I would like to see that dude come back and beat the fuck out of Jade Cargill for that title, just to be ha 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 kind of thing at that point, dude. Because I feel like that's who needs to dethrone Jade Cargill now, is a dude who's living their life as a woman now in Nyla Rose. And I think that'd be hilarious if that happened. I don't think it will, because I don't know if they fired Nyla Rose or not now. I feel like something happened where they're no longer with the company is what it is. But no, I think it'd be fucking hilarious, though, if something like that happened, though. But yeah, Jade is like, the way I look at Jade Cargill is like, that chick is 100% like up her own ass, basically, is the way I'm going to say it. Because when you look at her whole thing, it's just like inflated, egotistical bullshit. And you think you're like hot shit when in reality you're nothing. You fought a bunch of people that are getting paid to lose to you, is what it is. And honestly, I'm sorry. Like, I don't care if I'm supposed to like job to somebody or not in a company, dude. Like, fuck that. Like, I'm gonna fucking beat them for real, is what it is, dude. And just like do like a random upset, and people are like, "What the fuck just happened?" And it's like, yeah, it's just some random ass jobber person that beats this like known wrestler and shit. Now, granted, I'm sure you probably wouldn't get paid, and I'm sure you'd probably get sued or whatever the case be from the fucking whoever the hell's at the top of the place or whatever, because you were supposed to lose and shit. But it's like, yeah, fuck them, dude, is the way I see it. And yeah, like I said, I think Jade's just too big for her own fucking ego at this point, dude. And she really needs to get knocked down a peg or two by somebody. And I really am kind of hoping that they have Saraya take her on one of these days and she beats her for the title. I think it'd be pretty cool. So I would like to see something like that set up, but I don't think that's what they're gonna do. They're probably gonna have Saraya versus like Britt Baker or something like that be the big thing now or whatever. Another thing that bothers me with AEW, they really need to knock it off with this interim bullshit title crap, dude. Either somebody is a fucking women's champion or men's champion or whatever the case be, or they're not. And it's as simple as that, dude. And really, this brings me to WWE, the point of WWE right now. Y'all might remember way back in the day when they first introduced the Universal title and stuff like that, and Finn Balor was technically the first Universal champion there, is what it was, dude. You didn't see fucking, I think it was Kevin Owens was the second person that won that belt or whatever. You didn't see Kevin Owens becoming the interim world champ or interim Universal champion of WWE when Finn Balor was hurt, you know. No, he was the fucking champion is what it was, dude. Because Finn was out for like, I think like a year or something like that after that injury. And the thing of it is, it's the same bullshit with AEW, dude. It's like, there is no reason to have Toni Storm be an interim female world champion there when she should be the actual women's champ, dude, is what it is. It's like, yeah, Thunder Rosa's fucked up. Okay, so she fucking vacates the title, dude. And then maybe she wins it back when she comes back, not hurt anymore or whatever. But at that point, then you have Toni Storm be the actual champion is what it is, dude. Or who the fuck ever else is holding the title at the time then. Maybe it's another chick, maybe it's a whole other thing as well, dude. The thing is, too, when you look at AEW, this is one thing I thought was interesting about this company. I was going through a bunch of stuff recently with it. And the one thing I noticed was you had specifically the women's division there. I want to say Thunder Rosa was only like the 5th or 6th chick to hold the title in that company in the 3+ years it's existed right now. And I'm just like, damn, they're giving these people long ass title reigns in this company, man. And it's the same thing with the world title and stuff too as well, man. With the exception of Moxley holding it a bunch of times now, you've had like a handful of dudes hold that title entirely, dude, in the several years that this company's existed. And it's legitimately like 6-8 month title reigns and stuff like that, dude. And my big thing like that is, I get you want to, you know, bring prestige to a title. You want to have some dude be a defending champion or some chick be a defending champion and, you know, have them retain the titles and stuff like that. But simultaneously, it's like, yeah, those title reigns are like, I feel like a little bit too long, honestly. At least like a few weeks to maybe a month too long, honestly. Because the thing is, like, you could easily have, you know, another champion here, or maybe like a transitional champion or whatever. That's maybe like, I don't know, a few weeks, a month, maybe 2 months or something. And then have, you know, somebody hold it for, you know, 4 to 5 or something like that. And so forth and so on. And to have that be a thing where you're not doing that is kind of like a little bit aggravating because of the fact that it's a situation where you have so much good talent in the company and you're just squandering it. I feel like AEW is kind of becoming very much what TNA / Impact Wrestling used to be. as well as what WCW was near the end, which is basically you have like this huge pool of talent and you're just squandering them, or you're just, paying some people too much money or whatever the case be to be there. And then you're basically having your in-home talent not get the star power they need to have, is what it is, dude. And the thing with AEW specifically is you look at how many people in that company right now are ex-WWE folks right now, and it's a fuck ton, dude. I would say, honestly, it's probably about half their roster right now. Because you think about it, you got John Moxley, you got Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson. I was trying to remember which name was which in which company. So you got those two dudes. You have, I know Toni Storm worked for WWE for half a minute, although she was more of an indie wrestler before that for a long time. But I know she was working for it was like NXT UK or something like that for a little bit of time or something. So that's like 3. Then you got most recently Saraya. You got Athena, who used to be Ember Moon. Let's see, 5. Claudio Castagnoli, who was Cesaro. God, I'm trying to remember now who's all on this roster. W. Morrissey, who used to be Big Cass back in the day. Although his departing of that company, I believe, was not on good terms. It was something where I think it was more that piece of shit Enzo guy that got both of them fired. And I know for a fact that when it comes to Morrissey, his thing was basically he would go around in the back and be all political, like overly political, I guess is what I would say. He would, for those that don't know, I guess the guy was like a big Trump guy or something like that. And he would like go around to people and be like, yeah, Trump is the greatest thing since sliced bread kind of shit. And it's like, eventually people don't want to hear it, man. Like, and I'm not saying that, Trump one of the better presidents we've had in, the past, my whole entire life pretty much. But, yeah, eventually people don't want to talk politics, and you're just pissing people off at that point, dude. Like, especially when you're supposed to be going over like matches and shit, dude. So, it is what it is. But, yeah, I know he had like a ding against him for that is what it was. And then the shit with Enzo is basically what destroyed both their careers in that company then. And now that fucking ass clown that used to be Enzo is apparently an MLW is what it is now, because I was watching some of their stuff recently. That's one company I wish would actually drop more stuff, but I think their issue is that what they'll do is they'll basically go to a venue, specifically like the old ECW arena or whatever the case be, film like 3 or 4 shows over like a weekend or two, and then basically split that shit up into like 10, 12, 14 episodes or something like that of a series where it's like 1 or 2 super cards at most. And it's kind of sad, actually. It's almost as bad as what Lucha Underground used to be when it existed, where you would have them just like film like shit, and then like 6 months later it hits fucking TV kind of thing and stuff. And it's like, nah, bro, you need to be on that shit immediately, dude. Because the thing was, I was watching some of MLW's content from like a month or so ago, and they were talking back then about fucking Ric Flair's final match or whatever back in July, and I'm just like, bro, like even back then it was like August or something when this was uploaded to their fucking channel. Like, Jesus Christ. So, yeah. Although I heard that going to that thing as well, I heard apparently that Ric Flair final match thing was one of the biggest shit shows ever, dude. And you want to talk about people that were over the fucking hill at that point? Like, oh my god, bro. And that's the problem with some wrestler dudes is like, they realize that they're coming to like their end or whatever the case be, and they need like money, so they'll do like quote unquote one last match or whatever, and then they'll come out of retirement and do like one last match again kind of thing is what it is. The issue with that is they're so fucking old and decrepit. It's just you're a shell of yourself is what it is, man. And that's why you're almost better off just to try to do like autograph signings and bookings and stuff like that is what it is, dude. Or even like use your fucking skill set to like, use that name recognition to even run for political office if that be the case, I would say, for that point, dude. I mean, hell, look at fucking Kane, Glenn Jacobs. That dude is now mayor of Knox County. And as far as I'm aware, he's a great mayor from what I've heard. And that's one dude I actually wouldn't mind seeing run for higher office at this point, because he just has a good libertarian mindset is what it is. And that's not something you would have expected from a dude who used to be the Big Red Machine, honestly. At least not, I wouldn't have expected it anyway. But yeah, the guy's apparently a good dude, is what it is. So anyway, yeah, I just thought it was interesting how you had Paige finally show up in AEW now, and I actually heard something recently that I guess Malachi Black is supposed to be potentially leaving the company because he either they won't let him do what he wants to do, or he's just like over it or whatever because he's not like I think he felt like he was going to be a higher star in that ranking and shit, and then they brought like 10 other people in is what it was. And again, that's the biggest problem right there. You have so much fucking talent, and you only have X amount of titles to go around and stuff like that. So you have a dude who's basically forced to make a stable is what it is and be like just basically, you know, third wing kind of shit is what it is, dude, which is ridiculous because when you look at somebody like a Malachi Black, that dude could have been the fucking top tier star in that company, dude. Like he could have been the world champion of that company for a while, honestly, and been a very dominating world champion. And I'm not saying that John Moxley's not a decent world champion here and there and stuff like that, or has been over the time and stuff like that, dude. But again, there's no need for have the same guy hold the title 3-4 times, whatever, when you could have other dudes that are in there that are just as talented and maybe not as injury prone or maybe not as, you know, susceptible to substance abuse and stuff like that, like Moxley was, be able to hold the title for a while. And, you know, good on Mox for getting his shit together and being able to, you know, go to rehab and be very adamant about it and be like, yeah, you know, I'm fucking like, I forget if it was like drugs or booze or what it was for him, but it's like either way, you know, he understood that he had fucking issues is what it was, and he got them fixed is what it is. So, you know, I'm happy on that aspect of things that he was able to figure out his shit for his family and stuff like that. But again, simultaneously, it's like, yeah, meanwhile, you could have other dudes, you know, holding the belt that, you know, could go just as well, if not better, honestly, in some cases. Because the thing is, like, I believe 100% there are some dudes in wrestling, or even some chicks in wrestling, that can do things that other people can't, is what it is. And when you have that sort of diverse skill set in general in that company, or in any company there, is what it is, you have a much better overall company in these companies. And so you're basically giving the fans what they want a lot of the time. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people who never get their star to be able to shine anywhere, is what it is. And it's sad. And that's what, like, I'm looking at people like Shane Strickland, or Swerve Strickland is what he calls himself now. That dude should have been the fucking future of WWE back in the day, dude, like a few years ago and shit. He should have been able to go into NXT, do his thing there for 6 months, a year, whatever it was, come up to the main roster, and then basically be a contender in at least the mid-card division, if not like even main event division at some point. And nah, Vince just shit the bed, dropped the ball, whatever you want to call it there with him, and basically just fucking buried this kid. And it's sad. And now he's just now finally getting his comeuppance there in AEW, where he was, you know, half of the fucking tag champions and stuff like that with Keith Lee. Obviously, until, spoiler alert, recently when they lost to the Acclaimed here last night. So, speaking of the Acclaimed, so that's a group of dudes, specifically those two guys, Caster and Bowens. I really did not like those guys to begin with in this company. I thought they were jerk-offs in general, and they just seemed like assholes and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what, man, ever since like the last 5-6 months now, whatever it's been, since they've been doing the stuff with Billy Gunn and shit, and they've sort of, it's like the company's almost trying to turn them like face and shit, I have very much done a whole 180 on these dudes, and they are legitimately a great team, honestly. And I'm glad that they're finally getting, again, the recognition that they deserve in that one. And it's nice to see them finally get a title reign and stuff like that in that company, because, you know, those dudes can go on the mic quite a bit, actually. Now, granted, that being said, when it comes to Anthony Bowens, do I need to know this man's sexual orientation during quote-unquote gay pride month? No, I do not, AEW. The same thing with fucking Nyla Rose. The same thing with anybody in your fucking company. Again, nobody gives a shit. Stop playing identity politics. You know, seriously. Like, that is one thing I will knock Tony Khan for in general, dude. Like, nobody gives a fucking shit, dude. If you can go, you can go. It doesn't matter if you gay, trans, whatever the case be, man. if you're good in the ring, you're good in the ring. If you're not good in the ring, go fuck yourself, is what it is, you know? And I feel like that was the biggest issue with that shit. And the thing is with that, though, I actually knew about Bowen's sexuality before that because I was looking, I forget exactly where it was. It was like legitimately like back in like, I think like early May of this year. I was looking up some stuff, whatever the case be, because I had seen like a video or whatever. And they were talking about like wrestlers and their relationships. And then it was like a couple people I knew about and stuff like that in AEW. And there was like a couple people I didn't know about. And they're like, Anthony Bowens and some dude. And I'm just like, wait, what? That guy's gay? And then I was like, wait, is the other guy gay too? And then it's like, oh, no, he's actually not gay. Like, Castor's apparently straight, supposedly. And I'm like, oh, okay then. Because it would, like, the thing was, it would have made so much more sense if both dudes were gay, honestly. Because of the whole scissoring thing. And, yeah, it would have made so much more sense on that aspect of things, dude. But, like, the fact that they're trying to claim, like, one's gay and one's not. And that's, again, like going on that fact of things, and now that you actually know the dude is gay and shit like that, and he's doing the whole like scissor thing with Billy Gunn, it makes it even more funny actually in some cases. So yeah, but I really need to get me a scissor me daddy ass shirt, honestly, because I would totally wear that shit like one time just to give people a good laugh is what it is, man. But I don't know if they make it in my size though, because I would need at least a 5X, if not higher than that, maybe 6X even, so that it doesn't show off my fattiness. But yeah, unfortunately, most companies don't make my size T-shirts, especially wrestling companies, which I think is bullshit, dude. Like we all know that America, you know, has a weight problem and stuff like that, man. Like, come on, companies, make shit in our fat man sizes already, damn it. And you'll sell a lot more T-shirts and stuff like that, and a lot more whatever else, dude, hoodies and shit like that is what it is. So, anywho, but yeah, like I said, I thought it was interesting that to see Paige finally get her star to shine again in a company like AEW now. So it'll be very interesting to see how they play this storyline and see if it's going to be something where it's going to be like her versus Britt Baker and Hayter and shit like that, what have you. And if it'll be, because obviously the way they were showing it last night, it seemed like she was sort of already teaming with Tony Storm and Athena and stuff. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens there, dude. Dude, I'll tell you what. Speaking of Athena, man, whew, I'll tell you what, dude. That is one chick that I would definitely see as wife material. And the big thing is, I know she's married now to some dude, which is sad because it means I never have a shot. But yeah, good on that dude for locking that shit down, dude. Because for real, I would have knocked them boots for sure, man. So anyway, she just seems like the kind of chick that would be really fun in general. Both just out and about every day and in the sheets and stuff as well. So, but you know, that's all I need to say about that one, man. But anywho, what was I going to say then? Yeah, I lost train of thought with the sex talk there for a minute, but anywho, yeah, but yeah, I think that's definitely a hot chick for sure, man. And there's a couple others in the company that are very, very attractive. I'm also a huge fan of oh God, what's that one chick's name? My mind is blanking now. She was one of the ex champions, the Asian chick, with the kendo stick. God, it's like 6 a.m. I'm fucking almost 7 a.m. I'm fucking blanking out, dude, because I'm tired right now. Yeah, I can't think what it is right now. She was one of the ones that was hurt for a while. Fuck it, I'm just gonna look it up because now I can't think what the hell that girl's name is offhand. Let's see, female wrestlers. Hikaru Shida, that's who it is. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, Hikaru Shida is definitely pretty decent looking. The only issue with her though is that she is kind of a little bit of a butterface, I would say. And I'm not so sure exactly what the deal is there with that. Like if it's just, facial features that are the issue or what it is. But the thing was, when I've seen her in a couple different things, it like for her it almost depends on how she's like lighted as well. Because like I've seen her in like different lighting and shit before, where she looks like a lot hotter. And then there's like some of it where she's in like a little bit different lighting and she's like not as good looking at all, dude. So it might be like one of those kind of two-faced kind of deals or something like that one Seinfeld episode or something. But yeah, she's definitely um, one of the hotter chicks in that company. Leva Bates is actually decent looking, I would say. That Alley chick, that chick is fucking smoking hot, dude. Of course, she's married to the guy that's the butcher and shit. And again, good for that dude unlocking that down, man. So anyway, um, I need to look something up right now. Yeah, let me go ahead and allow me to grab this or no, I don't know. I was literally trying to grab the fucking profile thing for the one chick there because I wanted to discuss specifically that I think the chick there. Yeah, let's see. Where are we at now? Personal life. That's what I was looking for right there. Oh, I didn't realize her husband was actually a wrestler guy. I thought it was some dude that was. Oh no, that's right. That's right. I was thinking of the guy that married Sasha Banks. Was one of the backstage dudes there. That's who I was thinking of. That's what I was mixing them up. That's what it was by accident. But yeah, the chick that's Athena married fellow professional wrestler Matthew Palmer. So let's see what her husband looks like in this shot. Then, if that be the case. Oh, he is a white dude. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, let me go ahead and grab a screen cap here, and I'll show you guys what they look like together here. Yeah, it's a shot of them together there. So, interesting. Interesting. So she isn't a white dude, so that's a good thing to know. That's a good thing to know if she ever divorces that guy. That I might have a chance again. But I'm just making a joke, obviously. Or am I? Actually. Nah, I fucking am. Yeah, I'm just making a bad joke, honestly. Let's see. Actually, this chick and I definitely will get along because she's a fan of comics. Let's see. Probably some other um, interests that we would share as well. So, you know, huh. I was looking at who all the people that trained her were here. Huh, I didn't realize that Lance Archer was one of her trainers. That's interesting. Booker T, Rodney Mack. I think I remember that dude actually. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to remember offhand. I feel like I do remember that guy. Maybe. Okay, yeah, he was in WWE's version of ECW. That's what I was thinking of. Cool, cool. Huh. I didn't realize Athena's only 34 right now. damn. I was thinking she was a couple years older than that for some reason. So, yep, that's pretty much what it is, though. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and talk about a couple things here when it comes to AEW currently and stuff like that. As far as I'm aware, I haven't heard much about the CM Punk situation. If it has changed much at all, or if he got fired or whatever it was, dude. If he didn't, he needs to be, honestly. Like I said before, the fucking abortion T-shirt shit back in May should have been the fucking final straw for his ass. And like I said, hopefully him like basically fist fighting half the fucking locker room is basically going to be the final straw for him now. But yeah, I know there's been talk since then about the potentiality of like either the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega or both going to fucking WWE potentially, and it's like, yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen or not, man. But it'd be fucked up if it did, honestly, over this shit. It's like there's no reason for it, dude. Like the biggest issue I have with everything in that company is when you have one person, being CM Punk in that situation, being legitimately the linchpin for everything that is the fucking problem there. It's like, no, you get rid of that one fucking problem, dude, and you don't have any problems anymore. You know? And I actually watched like part of the interview where, because I heard somebody say something about him like stuffing Twinkies in his face and shit like that. So I was like, oh, wait, did he? And I looked back, and then I actually looked at it and stuff like that. And yeah, he's just fucking sitting there at a fucking thing, just like shoveling fucking food into his mouth. And it's like, what the hell kind of unprofessional shit is that, dude? If you're gonna sit there and do a fucking like post-match interview thing or whatever the case be, tell the fucking reporter people, be like, hey, we'll be out in like 15 minutes, and then back in the back or something like that, behind the fucking door in a locker room or something like that, have somebody bring you a couple sandwiches and eat a couple sandwiches real quick is what it is, man. And then go from there is what it is. Because you just like shoveling fucking food in your face is like super goddamn unprofessional is what it is, dude. Which I'm not surprised by, considering this is the same fucking asshole who legitimately came out wearing an abortion rights t-shirt thing and then doubled and like tripled and quadrupled and etc. down on the fucking stupidity instead just admitting that he's a piece of shit, anti-life, baby-killing asshole. And that's the problem with these fucking people, dude. And these all, like, this is something I talked about in the last Grandstand, actually. These are the same kind of fucking asshole people who will never admit that they're wrong about something or never admit that, like, oh, if I voted a different way, maybe things will be different now or whatever the case be kind of thing. Because they know if they do that, that it's like their entire fucking life is a facade then, and they don't know what to do anymore. Because they're like, oh, if I was wrong about this one thing, what else was I wrong about? And it's like, yeah, a lot of other things, dude. And that's the whole point. And that's the problem with most of these people is instead they'll just double down and be like, oh no, I'm this thing, or da-da-da-da, or this is the reason why people should be this thing, or whatever the case be. And it's like, no, this is why you should shut the fuck up, dude. And that's the whole point entirely. So, but anyway. Yeah, I'm going to go look up couple things here when it comes to CM Punk real quick and see if there's any real updates on that in the last few days or not. See what pops up here. Oh, okay. Well, we got a couple things here for different wrestling news here. So let's go ahead and just grab this article here and do a screen share of this whole thing while we're here for the next 5 minutes or so before I finish out this episode. So we have CM Punk reportedly not expected to return to AEW, contract buyout likely. Fuck that, dude. Fucking cancel his contract outright is what you need to be doing there, Tony Khan. I don't know why you'd buy out that piece of shit's contract, dude. Be like, no, you're not getting paid. Go fuck yourself. That contract is null and void, you asshole. You broke that contract the day you punched half our fucking locker room in the face, douchebag. And that would be as simple as that, dude. Like, there's no, you cannot tell me that Tony Khan and his father, being fucking, billionaire people and stuff, dude, are not smart enough to have a good contract written where they have like a loophole in it that's like no physical contact kind of thing or whatever the case be. or it's like, no backstage fucking, shit like that, or whatever the case be. And if you're going to instigate stuff like that, you can be fired without pay or something like that, dude. And you can be null and voided of your contract, is what it is then. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no reason to buy this motherfucker out when you should have that stuff already in there as a clause, is what it is. So, anyway. Said during a recent PWTorch.com audio show, Wade Keller recapped AEW Dynamite Grand Slam while speaking about the ROH World Title match between Chris Jericho and Carlo Castagnoli. By the way, Chris Jericho is now Ring of Honor World Champion. Said Keller noted how CM Punk's name was excluded when Ann something talked about the big names that held the title. Said Keller also added that he doesn't expect Punk to return, and while nothing is 100% set in stone, things seem to be leaning towards a buyout of Punk's contract. Said, I think this is noteworthy, but not surprising, that he excluded CM Punk's name as he talked about some of the biggest names who held the title. That's a bit of a tell, as I talked with Jason Powell yesterday about I am not expecting CM Punk to wrestle on AEW again. I'm not saying it's a 100% sure thing, but everything is pointing in that direction as some sort of buyout in his contract. We'll learn more eventually about the situation. This is following the backstage fight at All Out. All the parties involved were suspended, and our investigation was launched. No one involved in the fight has spoken publicly about the situation. AEW has remained quiet. It's expected that more information will be coming out very soon. So, and then, yeah, there you got Saraya, formerly Paige, in AEW now, so that's pretty cool. Pretty happy about that one. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see how much she actually wrestles or whatever in this company now. And of course, you got Jade Cargill responds to Cardi B. Miami rap legend Trina appears on AEW Dynamite. I actually wondered who that chick was. I had no idea. So I'm glad they told me. I'm glad that they told me in that article there, man, because I was like, I don't know who that is. Again, I don't fucking listen to that music, so I wouldn't know who the fuck that is, dude. And that's the whole thing. That's what, honestly, difference between AEW and WWE/NXT. At least WWE/NXT specifically will give you, like, because I remember I was watching that one of the NXTs about, I don't know, a month and a half ago or so, and this is when I first got back into that, specifically Tuesday Night Wrestling is what it was. And it was like a bunch of chicks backstage, and it was like as soon as they basically walked into the frame and shit, they had the camera people, or the backstage people ready with whoever it was that was coming in and like what their name was and everything else like that. And I feel like that's the problem with AEW is it's like you're not giving people the necessary things that they would need to understand, like, this is who this person is and this is why they're important kind of thing, And it's like, yeah, if you're not in that kind of music circle and stuff like that, dude, you're not going to know who the fuck that is. You're just going to assume it's some chick or whatever that's being brought in. You have no idea who the fuck they really are, honestly. And yeah, I feel like AEW definitely dropped the ball on that one with that Trina woman is what it was, dude. So, anywho, but yeah, then we got Jon Moxley obviously wins AEW World Championship on Dynamite Grand Slam. Top stable having issues within. That's an interesting one. Not surprised by that one. Huh. I'm actually going to read this one. Thought this was interesting. AEW announces Jake Hager has been fined and suspended for 10 days for his conduct on AEW Fyter Fest. I'm assuming that might be a little bit of... Okay, never mind. It's old art. Okay, that was old. That was like 2 months ago that happened. So apparently it was something he did back then. He got fucking suspended for like 10 days or whatever. Huh. This one is actually not surprising. It's from back in May of this year. It said WWE fired the 4th member of Judgment Day before he joined the group. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Oh. I didn't even realize that kid was with WWE at one point. For those who don't know who Parker Boudreaux is, he's the kid that's now in AEW and stuff like that, or that Davari guy. Apparently, he was in AEW, or he was in WWE as Harland, is what they called him there, and he was supposed to be the fourth member of Judgment Day. So, and they apparently fired him before he even got to be part of that, dude. Man, that was, oh my god, dude. Like, again, you want to talk about companies dropping the fucking ball, bro? Like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, brah, seriously. That kid, like, Parker Boudreaux, man, is a fucking mini Brock Lesnar at this point, dude. If I didn't know any better, I'd think Brock Lesnar fucked his mom like 20 years ago at this point, dude. And I'm not even kidding around about that, man. Like, I would seriously get like a DNA test on that shit. Like, that's how fucking whatchamacallit I am about it, dude. So, because he looks like he could definitely be Lesnar's fucking son, dude. But anyway, going ahead and going back, do a little screen share again on this shit. Like I said earlier, you had not only did Paige make a debut in AEW now, you got the Acclaimed to become World Tag Champions. Good for them. I'm glad that they gave those dudes that title set right there, dude, because they deserved it. They definitely fought their asses off to get to that point to where they should be champions now. And you got Moxley becoming champion again. Again, I actually am a little bit disappointed with that one. I think Bryan Danielson should have won the title there. Should have been his first time around or whatever as champion. So I'm a bit disappointed in I keep saying WWE, in AEW for that one. Probably because it says former WWE star Paige debuts on AEW Dynamite. That's what I was looking at there. But yeah, like, it's just a little bit sad, honestly, on that one. And then, of course, you had Chris Jericho wins ROH World Championship during AEW Dynamite. So, beat Claudio Castagnoli for that one. Yeah, I think it was a good card, honestly. Very good card for what it was. Like I said, this one probably makes me the happiest is that little bitch CM Punk not returning to this company ever again. Because, again, he can go fuck himself for everything he's done with this company, dude. And that's the problem. Like I said, going back to the Ric Flair thing, dude. When wrestlers don't know that they just need to retire is what it is, dude. And am I saying that CM Punk just needs to retire? Maybe, actually, you know. I mean, hell, he's already gone to Hollywood and was part of that heel show. You might as well just go back there is what it is, dude, and fucking film some more of that shit if they want to have him on the set and stuff. And if he wants to wrestle, he can wrestle on fucking TV and shit like that is what it is in fucking Hollywood, dude, on a film set. So, you know. Because the thing is, with any of those guys, you know, like, here's my thing with wrestling in general. You basically, as a wrestler, coming into the ring, have a limited amount of time before you're going to get hurt, no matter what. Eventually, something's going to happen, you know, just whether it be a ton of matches you've had or whatever the case be, that just lead to, like, a major injury or a minor injury or whatever it is, dude, to where it's just your body taking blows continuously, and eventually you just, you know, stop being able to take those blows or something like that, or you end up knocking something loose, or, you know, maybe your tear a rotator cuff, or, you know, snap your MCL or ACL or whatever it is, or whatever the case be, dude. And eventually you can't go no more is what it is for a while, and then you know, have to sit out for, you know, 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever it is, dude, and get healed again. Or in the case of, you know, sadly, Draws, the dude had such loose clothing when D'Lo Brown tried to give him that power bomb, it fucking paralyzed his ass, dude. And that poor son of a bitch is now wheelchair bound for the rest of his life. And I don't know, I want to say he's still alive, but I could be wrong. He might have been dead in the last couple of years now. Yeah, I can't remember if he died in the last couple of years or not, but I remember seeing him from a few years ago, like 4, 5, 6 years back now, where he was all like wheelchair bound, and he's now like 2 or 3 times the size he used to be because of that. And I'll tell you what, dude, that it brought a tear to my eye, dude, to see that man in the capacity he is now, and it's just sad. It's sad. It never needed to happen. And again, that's the tragedy of fucking wrestling sometimes, is that you just have those freak accident fucking injuries like that are just career ending and stuff like that, dude. I mean, hell, they talked about Edge for a long time not being able to come back because his neck was all fucked up and he had to have like fusion surgery on various vertebrae and stuff like that. And the same thing with Paige. They talked about her not being able to come back for a long time because of her fucking neck injuries from Sasha Banks' bitch ass. Fucking her up in that one match is what it was. And yeah, it's a situation there where you definitely have people that, you know, anything can happen, dude. I mean, hell, you look at Mick Foley's daughter, for that matter, Noelle Foley, dude. That chick was supposed to be the next generation of wrestler and stuff for that family. And instead, she got fucked up in some NXT match, is what it was. And now she has, like, serious fucking brain injury stuff going on to where she can't even go outside and have a normal life anymore, man, because she has, like, it's almost like some crazy, like, crystal in her ear shit or whatever the case be, where she can't get her stuff realigned anymore. And it's, like, light sensitivity like crazy for her or whatever. It's just sad, man. It's horrible is what it is, man. I feel so sorry for her, honestly, because again, that never needed to happen. Or in the same case of things for, you know, this next generation of kids, Eddie Guerrero's daughter was supposed to be one of these kids that came up in NXT and stuff like that, and she got hurt very early in her career, and now she's pretty much fucking done with wrestling entirely because, again, she almost got fucking paralyzed, dude, from that shit. I know she got serious fucking after effect injuries from that, from like one of the matches she had early on in that company. And yeah, it's a situation there where you never know, man. You never know. You know, you're just trying to be in the business, and fucking one day you have a bad match, or somebody doesn't know how to doesn't know how to execute a move properly or whatever it is on you, or, you know, you try to do something to them or whatever and they botch it or something somehow and they fuck you up in the process or whatever the case be, and themselves potentially as well. Yeah, it's just a sad situation all the way around, man. And it's unfortunate. And it's really unfortunate that we have, you know, so many people deciding to go the deathmatch route in this country. And you have so many people that used to work for CCW now being dead from deathmatch wrestling. And I'm going to talk about that for a minute, actually, right now. If you have, like, this is something I actually want to get into more detail about in the future. If you have not looked into CCW in the past 10 years, you should, because there are at least 10 to 15 people that have worked for that company who are dead in just as many years, dude. And it was all guys that did deathmatch wrestling. And some of them, especially in the cases of JC Bailey and the guy that called himself Brain Damage, that shit was legitimately from the blows they took to the head in those death matches, whether it be light tube shots, whether it be fucking, you know, empty 5-gallon jugs full of thumbtacks that they got smacked in the head with a bunch of times, whether it be chairs to the fucking skull, whether it be, you know, barbed wire baseball bats to the head, et cetera, dude. It's like, yeah, when you take X amount of blows to the fucking brain, dude, like, eventually your brain ain't going to work no more, dude, is what it's going to be, and you're going to have potentially brain bleeding is what it is. And I'm pretty sure, actually, if you go back to JC Bailey's death, that's what caused his fucking death, dude. The guy was having a fucking brain bleed before the finals of the fucking match that day, or sorry, for the finals of the Tournament of Death event that day. And yeah, went on to wrestle anyway, won the fucking match or whatever, and then was like dead the next day or like 2 days later, whatever it was, dude. And it was because he was bleeding in his brain internally. Nobody fucking realized it. And by the time he was able to seek medical help, he was already fucked. And what's you know, I'm kind of glad, honestly, like going back even to my own health and shit, and how I've had like serious health issues for like, you know, almost 20 years of my life and stuff now. In some cases, I'm actually glad what happened because of the fact that I was seriously looking in my teenage years, like 16, 17, into getting into the wrestling business and being a wrestler for a while. And I'm glad I didn't, because honestly, if I did, who's to say I wouldn't be in a similar situation right now where I had like serious mental health and stuff like that issues because of, you know, just repeated blows to my head is what it was, dude, because I would have definitely 100% gotten into the deathmatch wrestling, dude, because that would have been my fucking forte. And there was times even going back to the backyard days, dude, where there was going to be things that we did in the backyards, and unfortunately none of that ever kicked off. And again, I'm kind of glad it didn't, because Hell, I'm gonna permanently injure myself in the fucking backyard and shit, dude, doing backyard wrestling. So, as it is, it doesn't really matter because I still got fucked up anyway from just life, you know? So, yeah, it's a whole fucking thing, man. But, it's a little sad, though, when you look at it, man, and you have, you know, so many people just, you know, basically having their lives cut short because of a sport, basically. And, you know, like I said, going to CZW there, whether it be Justice Payne or the guy that called himself Brain Damage or JC Bailey or any of the guys in between there. Fucking Danny Havoc was another one of these guys that died too young because of brain damage and stuff like that. Repeated blows to the head, I should say, et cetera, dude. And the ones that got out, the people like Nick Mondo and Messiah and stuff like that, dude, they still got fucked up anyway, man. I mean, hell, you look at Messiah, dude, like, fuck, dude. That dude got his fucking thumbs chopped off because he was fucking in the wrong company for a while. And the one dude's wife apparently decided to fuck him is what it was. That piece of shit Rob Black, dude. How that motherfucker's not in prison for the rest of his life, honestly, over that shit, I will never know. The only thing I can think is it must be that they just never caught the guys that actually cut the dude's thumbs off. Or not thumbs, they cut his thumb off. They were trying to cut both off is what it was, dude. And what's even worse is, this is something I heard about recently, actually. I guess at the beginning of this year, you had that son of a bitch Rob Black use the fucking XPW footage from the Dark Side of the Ring episode that he was featured in and stuff like that, to then turn around and remake XPW now on the West Coast. And I'm just like, what the fuck, bro? And what's even worse is you have like a lot of the guys that were like decent wrestlers propping this cocksucker up again, dude. And I'm just like, bro, don't do that shit. Like, do not work for this man. This guy is a fucking sack of fucking shit. He is one of the worst promoters ever. And it's like, why would you ever fucking propagate his bullshit, dude? Like, I guarantee you Rob Black ain't paying those dudes a whole lot of money to fucking work for him, dude. For various supercards and shit like that is what it would be, man. So it's like, again, why would you even fucking bother to go to his events and be part of those matches, dude? Fuck that guy. Seriously. So, yeah, that guy was a fucking scumbag. And I'm not even going to get into the whole thing about like smut peddling, dude, because honestly, I could give a fuck less. If you're going to get into the porn business and you're going to have the porn business fund your wrestling fucking, you know, fantasies and stuff like that, it's whatever, dude. But if you're going to seriously allow people to get hurt and potentially almost killed underneath your fucking watch, like Ving Rhames would have, or not Ving Rhames, yeah. Vic Grimes, that's who I'm thinking of. Yeah. Names sound similar, by the way. Because I was thinking of New Jack is what it was, and my mind actually went to Ving Rhames for some reason. Because actually, if you look at those two guys, they do kind of look similar, is what it is. Except I think Ving Rhames is actually a little bit bigger than the New Jack was. But yeah, so the New Jack versus Vic Grimes match in XPW back in the day at that freefall event, dude, where he got fucking tossed off scaffolding like 50 feet and shit like that. And New Jack admitted he was trying to kill the guy. Like, nah, dude. New Jack should have been in prison the rest of his fucking life after that shit, dude. And Rob Black should have been shut down entirely at that point in history, dude. For attempt, and both of them should have actually technically New Jack should have been facing attempted murder charges, and Rob Black should have been faced accessory to attempted murder charges, is what it was, dude, for that whole event, dude. So it's just ridiculousness, is what it is, dude. Honestly, and yeah. Rob Black is a complete piece of shit, dude. If you've never seen that Dark Side of the Ring episode about XPW, dude, please go watch that, because it is one of the best episodes out there that shows just what a fucking scumbag fucking cunt that Rob Black is, what a fucking sack of shit that Lizzie Borden is in general, dude, and basically the entire pretty much roster of that fucking organization was at the time, dude. That were all the fucking Extreme Associates, fucking porn star chicks and stuff like that. And the guys that were there as well for that. So, Actually, the one dude that I wouldn't mind seeing come out of retirement would be that Chaos guy, because that dude's actually a decent guy, it seems like. Sadly, Supreme didn't make it, though. He passed away in the last couple of years. He was a decent wrestler, though, for what he did in that. And actually, going back to the CZW thing as well, dude. Supreme being an XPW and stuff, and also doing the deathmatch shit, dude, he is dead because of that. You know, when you have that dude doing all kinds of falls and everything else like that, and blows to the head and shit, like, yeah, you cannot tell me that a dude who's in his like late 40s, early 50s should be dead now, unless he took multiple fucking blows and head injuries, is what it was, dude, from repeated chair shots to the skull, or like I said, fucking baseball bats with barbed wire on them, or whatever it was, dude. You know, it's fucking ridiculous, dude. Like, there's no reason for that shit. It's like, is it really entertaining? To some extent, yes. Are people sick and depraved motherfuckers? Yeah, they are. Do they want to see that kind of violence? There are definitely a subset that do. Should you do it on a regular basis? Fuck no. Because again, this is how you lose brain cells, and eventually how you have brain bleeds or psychotic episodes, Chris Benoit style, because you take so many fucking blows to the skull, dude, is what it is. They're unprotected. Like, there's a reason why when you look at those death matches, dude, and like CCW or these other companies like that, why you have referees putting on fucking rubber gloves and shit like that halfway through the match, dude. And it's because they don't want fucking Hep C and shit in their fucking system if they have like a cut on their hand or some shit from these wrestlers bleeding all over the place is what it is, dude. And not to mention, you could talk about all kinds of other stuff in that, whether it be all kinds of hepatitis or whether it be fucking AIDS and shit like that or something like that, or HIV or whatever it is, dude, or really anything for that matter now. I mean, hell, there's a bunch of other bloodborne diseases now with this being the case, dude, besides what I just mentioned. And it's like, yeah, that's the last fucking thing I'd want to have as a referee or anybody like that, dude. Fuck that shit. Like, nah, bro. Actually, one of the funnier stories I remember watching a video about it was, this is back when Danny Havoc was still alive. And he was talking, I forget who the second guy was in CCW that he was referring to, but it was basically Havoc and this other guy that worked for CCW. And it was Tommy Dreamer coming in for an event then, as like a hardcore legend, obviously. And he just like looks, turns to the side, dead stares Danny Havoc and this other guy, sort of like cocks his head a little bit, looking at him. And then he's like, your guys' foreheads are fucking disgusting. And he explained to him, he's like, the reason that your foreheads look so fucked like that is because you guys did not know how to blade properly. Because what they would do is they would just like scrape the blade across their fucking forehead to cut it up, is what it was. When in reality, apparently when you're blading and stuff, what you're supposed to do is do a poke and a twist a little bit. So it's like basically like a little teeny hole or whatever that you're putting into place there. And so that way your forehead doesn't look too bad after the fact. But of course, when you're like, you know, like razor blading across your own forehead like that a bunch of times, it's going to be like this nasty fucking mess all the time, dude. And you could, I remember actually going back to people like Supreme back in the day. He had his forehead like that because he didn't know how to blade properly. You had, I believe it was Axel and Ian Rotten, both in ECW and IWA Mid-South and stuff like that. Both of their foreheads look disgusting like that for that exact same reason. And yeah, you can definitely tell in the wrestling business, these guys that are in these deathmatch circles and stuff like that, who actually knows how to blade properly and who does not know how to blade properly, because again, it goes back to the forehead just fucking looking gross as shit, or it looks, you know, halfway decent when it actually heals is what it is. So yeah, it's just sad, man. But like I said, it's just sad, man, how many of these guys in CCW have died now from doing the deathmatch shit, and how many more are going to perish in the future, or not even CCW, but like any of these other companies that are similar, dude, that have taken over their wrestlers and stuff like that, like Game Changer Wrestling and stuff like that is another one of these companies now. And it's like, how many guys from GCW are going to be dead in the next 5-10 years from fucking deathmatch wrestling, dude? And it's one of these things that, like, I'm not saying that you should ban that particular, you know, variation of wrestling. What I'm saying is, though, is people need to be informed how much that can shorten their lifespan, how much it can shorten their careers and stuff like that, dude. And if they're still willing to go in the ring and do that stuff, that's up to them. But again, do I want to see, another 10, 20 guys in the next 5, 10 years dead from this shit? No, I do not. It's sad, man. And a lot of these dudes could be better dudes, is what it is, man. And unfortunately, they have chosen to be like, oh no, I want to entertain the fans and stuff like that. And how can I entertain the fans? Oh, let me keep taking all these blows to my fucking head with various like light tubes and shit. And it's like, dude, all you're doing is shortening your life. I mean, for God's sakes, dude, like, how many chemicals and shit are in a fucking light tube, for God's sakes, man? Like, that shit is gonna fuck up your lungs, for God's sakes, man. Like, you're breathing in fucking like glass dust basically when you're getting that shit knocked into you, man. You cannot tell me that is going to be good for your health in the long term, dude, because you're breathing in like microfiber glass is what it is, dude. So anyway, yeah, just craziness, dude. Or even like the fuck, because I mean, I've seen obviously like deathmatch tournaments where it's like panes of glass, dude, and it's just like the second that these guys hit into one of those things, it just shatters into a million pieces and stuff. And again, you can't tell me, depending on how you're falling into that shit, that you're not going to catch like a teeny fucking fragment of that in your own mouth and stuff, dude, potentially. Or you wouldn't have like shit go flying elsewhere and stuff like that, dude. And like, yeah, there could be even the fans close to the fucking close to the ring and stuff like that, dude, could be affected by that shit. So, yeah, definitely very hazardous. Very, very hazardous. Again, to each their own, but I'm just saying, man, for me personally, like the older I get, the more I am steering away from that kind of fucking shit, dude, and watching any of it because of the fact that it's just like, and it's not even the gore factor anymore for me. It's just like, I'm looking at these dudes that are part of this, and then I'm seeing, article after article, fucking story after story of just like, oh, this wrestler's dead at this age. This wrestler's dead at this age. A few years down the road, and I'm just like, fuck, man, like, that's what causes this shit. And it's just sad, and it doesn't need to be a thing, honestly, dude. And like I said, if these men wanted to do stuff, like they hell, I mean, look at people like the Sandman, for God's sakes, man. That guy's in his 50s now. He still comes in the ring every once in a while and does some crazy shit. But the thing is, he knows better than to go out there and, again, take fucking repeated blows to the fucking skull a bunch of times or do stupid shit like that, man. Hell, you look at people like Necro Butcher, for God's sakes, who was in the deathmatch wrestling for like 20 years or whatever it was, dude. That dude's knees are fucking shot to shit now, bro. And pretty much the rest of his body is too. I don't know if he's retired now or if he's dead now, honestly. I'm not even sure anymore. Neither would surprise me, honestly, at this point, man. It wouldn't surprise me if it was like, oh, he retired a year or two ago and now he's dead, honestly. And it goes back to the fact that it was just him having, the after effects of being in that fucking ring, doing that kind of fucking specific kind of wrestling for X amount of time is what it was. Actually, if you want to see a really disgusting video, I don't know if it's still on YouTube here or not, but there is a match that happened in IWA Mid-South, and this is probably mid 2000s or so, maybe closer to 2010, someplace in there. And it was Mickey Knuckles. I forget who she was fighting at the time. And I want to say it was some kind of deathmatch thing or whatever the case be. And she tried to do like, I think it was like a Death Valley driver against this person, like off the thing or some shit. And ended up coming down off the, where she was stationed on the, like bleachers or whatever, and you just see her leg basically disintegrate because she just snaps it in multiple places, and I'm just like, oh my god, dude. Like it was like such fucked up bends, and I'm just like, oh god, bro. Like, that ain't right, man. And then you just hear her like screaming in agony, and I think it was like Ann Rotten or somebody comes running over to her, and he's like, you're going to be okay, girl. You're going to be okay. And I'm just like, no, she's not, dude. Like, she is fucked right now. Like, get this girl to a hospital, for God's sakes, man. Get her to the fucking ambulance. And get her the medical treatment that she's going to need, because she's going to be fucking in the cast for a long time after that, man. So, But yeah, like it, like seriously, like I'm just thinking back to it and like repicturing it in my mind, and it's just like, oh my god, like it was just like, oh dude, like that is not how a leg is supposed to look, kind of thing. It was bad. It was bad, man. It was like fucking like the equivalent of the time that like Psycho Sid jumped off the fucking ropes and like smashed his fucking leg to shit. Like it was like that kind of stuff, man. Like it was, oh my god, dude. It was definitely like nightmare worthy shit, honestly, dude. Like how it looked. So, but yeah, again, that was people deciding to go into that fucking kind of wrestling and just fucking their shit up is what it was, dude. So, hmm. Jesus fucking Christ. Uh, I was just reading that one article about Jade Cargill and Cardi B and shit, and it was them talking about AEW potentially bringing in that dumb cunt, Cardi B, and attracting, being like WWE and attracting some fans the way that they brought in Logan Paul, and I'm just like, well, first of all, Logan and Jake Paul can both go fuck themselves, dude. Those guys are sacks of dog shit. And it's a fucking joke to even have Logan Paul in WWE right now. Actually, I was watching something the other day from that, and they were talking about him fighting like Roman Reigns for a title now, and I'm just like, bro, this is like David Arquette level shit that led to WCW's fucking downfall. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Vince and Triple H and company? This is fucking dumb. Get this fucking cocksucker piece of shit Logan Paul the fuck out of your company immediately, dude, and tell this asswipe to go kick rocks is what it is, dude. Seriously. Like, if seriously, if they're gonna pull that shit, dude, have Roman Reigns cripple this motherfucker permanently. Is what it is, man. And get one back for people like me who got fucked from Logan Paul's dumbass fucking Suicide Forest stunt like a decade ago, where we lost all our monetization because of that fucking ass wipe. So, anyway, I feel like that son of a bitch still owes me money for that too. By the way, Logan Paul's bitch ass dude. Because he definitely cost me like several $1,000s in fucking ad revenue and stuff over the last decade or so now, dude. So, which I'm never going to see a dime of, obviously. But, yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. Either way, like I said, fuck him and fuck them. And especially fuck Cardi B, man. Like, you want to talk about fucking trailer trash, no talent, ass wipes right there, dude? Like, her and Logan Paul are both on the same fucking level, dude, for real. Specifically, Cardi B with her like the fact that this chick's an admitted fucking thief, dude, that used to like rob dudes and drug them and shit so she could steal their wallets when she was like some hooker at some fucking strip club or whatever it was, dude. Like, nah, bro. Fuck her. Fuck her. Keep her the fuck out of your company, AEW. Actually, if AEW wants to lose wrestling fans like myself, they will bring Cardi B in and we will never watch their product again, is what it is, dude. If they want to maintain our fucking audience, they need to keep this bitch as far away from their company as possible, dude. And it's as simple as that. So that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it at for the day. Like I said, glad Paige is in the company now. Nice to see Jericho be champion again. Would have been nicer to see Bryan Danielson win fucking world championship instead of Moxley for like the fourth time now or whatever it is. But, you know, again, AEW is going to do what they're going to do, and it's fucking Tony Khan doing what he wants to fucking do, man. Maybe he thinks Moxley's a bigger draw. Maybe he understands that Daniel Bryan has a shorter clock or something like that, dude. I don't fucking know. Who the fuck knows, man? Could be anything. But I did appreciate seeing Wheeler Yuta slap the fuck out of MJF, though. I thought that was pretty good. He totally deserved that shit, by the way, as well. Fuck him. MJF, I mean. That guy's an asshole for real, man. That dude is like the perfect example of a heel you just want to punch in the face for real, man. because he always maintains the heel shit is what it is, dude. And that's the thing. I don't know that that's actually a gimmick for him. I think that's actually just really him is what it is, man, at this point. Like, he's just that good. He's just an asshole for real. And he's just exuding his assholishness as a fucking wrestler is what it is, man. And that's what makes him a great heel then. Is because it's just really how this guy is in real life is what it is, you know? So, nothing would surprise me at this point, honestly. But either way, that's pretty much where we're at for the day, though. Like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will be back at some point in the future talking about wrestling again, probably. I don't know if it'll be as a grandstand or not, but figured I'd throw this as a grandstand because why the fuck not, you know? Because we obviously talked about other things within this, of course, you know, CCW and their wrestlers that have all passed because of deathmatch wrestling is what it is, and you know, so forth and so on. So I feel like that's very informative stuff people need to know and understand, and you know, start looking into. And like I said, one of these days I'm going to compile a list of people that from that company that in the past, like probably 15 years or so, that have perished now since then, just based on their experiences doing deathmatch stuff is what it is, man. Because I know for a fact there's at least 10 to 15 in the last just as many years, dude. It's at least one a year anyway, if not more than that. And it's just sad, man. And there's no need for it. And it's unfortunate that you have people that are choosing to maintain and continue on with doing that kind of stuff when so many of their buddies that used to be, you know, their opponents in the ring and stuff are no longer with us because of the fact that they did it for so long. But, you know, again, when you're already, you know, brain damaged or mentally impaired because of that shit or whatever, are you really going to think about that and have full brain capacity to think about that? Probably not is what it is, man. And unfortunately, you know, that's what happens when you monitor people and, you know, you fucking bash them in the head with a fucking monitor and stuff like that, dude. They're not going to be doing too well after the fact. That's what it's going to be, dude. So anyway, like I said, though, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you all in the next one.